Hi, Martin. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. I have some questions for you, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. The first question is, how has generative AI transformed traditional marketing workflows, and what specific challenges has it addressed in this industry?
So I think there are many different angles. The traditional marketing strategy is being affected by generative AI. On one hand, we see, uh, of course, text generation. So I'm speaking to different modes of generation. So text generation, writing the posts, copywriting, etc. Then I see on the image generation level, with Midjourney, you can now produce very very images that are very well and even containing text. Video generation might come soon, and also maybe AI agents where you have always like a language model plugged into, and it would respond to requests, feedback, etc. in real time. I see many different angles. You also asked about the challenges. I see plenty of challenges, especially when it comes to QA, quality assurance. I can, when I read, for instance, on LinkedIn, I read many posts, and I can quickly identify when something has been used from ChatGPT, copy and paste it in, and people get sensitive towards these things, and they understand, okay, is that actually like yeah, a piece of text that is interesting and is well written. Um, they prefer that versus the sort of like standard ChatGPT language. Um, yeah, and then also, of course, dependency to AI. Yeah, we have to make sure that the critical thinking lies ahead of in front of the computer. That is, I think, quite important, and compliance as well. AI compliance. It's a whole box of Pandora, of course, that goes with that.
Can you provide any examples of successful marketing campaigns or strategies that have leveraged generative AI, and what were the key things that were needed for it to be successful?
On the top of my head, I have two not full strategies, but at least pieces of advertising that I saw that were quite outstanding. I found one is the Coca-Cola advertisement with generative AI. They used also video generation and image generation, blended it nicely, and also with traditional recording into in it's this advertisement where the camera zooms into a museum, and then the different art tech grabs the Coca-Cola bottle. I think that was one of the first really great executed advertisements with generative AI. Had a sustainable, long-lasting impact, I think, and is still being cited. And then I saw also one from Virgin Voyages, where they used generative AI, Jennifer Lopez, basically, or the AI version of her, called her Gen AI, and she was basically inviting for one of the custom cruise ships, yeah, standing basically as something like, hey, we customize it as much as you want for you, and we use newest technology. I think that, yeah, that stood out to me, because they were really embracing the new technology. Yeah.
Cool. As generative AI evolves, what skills do you think that marketers will need to stay ahead in this dynamic landscape of digital marketing?
Yeah. I think they definitely should embrace the new technology. I was already mentioning the new modes, text generation, image generation, um, but in an intelligent manner. Yeah, not just copy and pasting. As I said, the critical thinking has to be in front of the computer, and but using it for idea generation, and delving into new modes of marketing. I think that is fantastic. And when I say embracing the technology, this also means it, seeing what's coming next, and maybe capitalize on these new trends. I think it's not that much of a surprise when you look in this space, like what might come next. So we see video generation is really getting better and better. I think a lot can be done with that. There are also great tools, Runway ML, or video magic video by ByteDance, for instance. These are great tools to also play around with. You don't even need to be very technical to do so. And also one other trend that I'm seeing is AI agents. Yeah, AI agents everywhere. So basically these language action oriented language models that perform tasks for us. They can perform some market research. They can understand some feedback on social media if there's maybe a large scale of posts that have to be analyzed. This can all be done with language models and AI agents. Yeah, and in the direction I would go.
Cool. And then for enterprises considering the adoption of generative AI, what are the key steps that they should take to ensure it's a successful implementation?
Mhm. This is I would say, of course, a very individual, company individual conversation. But as up until last year, I have been the generative AI lead for EMEA for Infosys, and I have supervised many different projects, and I had many conversations with many clients. And so what I have seen is that 95% of all generative AI projects that they are about to undergo, 95, 99%, but definitely the large majority of them are taking some documents and make a conversation out of these documents. Yeah, it can be the FAQs, and then it can be a chatbot that answers the FAQs, or there are other documents. Also in the marketing space. So, but first, the conversations that I had were mostly about making documents or like a large corpus of text conversational, and this also increases the interactivity with the customers. And in order to make this successful, I think one myth is already that customers think the documents and the data has to be cleaned very intensively, which is not fully true. There has to be a certain ground cleanliness, and we have to there has to be some data preparation happening. But language models are actually quite good in dealing with some noisy data. Yeah, so if there are like some footnotes or header notes and stuff, it can deal with these kind of things very easily. So this is one thing. Then, of course, the core piece, I don't want to be too technical, but the core piece of these sort of like documentation question answering is a RAG, retrieval augmented generation. In the workshop, we will shed some light on that. Yeah, so this is one part. Of course, there's also the question, do I want to go open source? Do I want to go closed source models? Do I want to, what are the ethical implications? Yeah, we have biases in the models, how, as we expose it maybe to millions of people, to everyone in the web, potentially, I have to be aware of what biases there might be in the model. When it comes to maybe some dependency or human in the loop. These are all like questions that have to be asked up front. And lastly, I would say a major role plays also what is my budget. Yeah, if you use the OpenAI API, I had a client who had a bill of $500,000 every month just with that OpenAI API calling. Yeah. And there's no cloud invoices, other cloud services involved. Yeah, it's just literally calling the language model. So there are plenty of questions that also, especially in the workshop, we will shed some light on and get a better understanding of.
Brilliant. Looking forward to that workshop. So the last question here I have is, how do you see the future of generative AI? What emerging trends could we see further shape this industry?
Mm-hmm. I also wrote a book called Generative AI, Navigating the Course to the AGI Future. AGI
Mhm.
standing for Artificial General Intelligence Future. So this is where the tech ultimately is going, AGI, Artificial General Intelligence Future. There are different guesses by different AI experts about the timeline, yeah, when we are there. Some argue even that we are already sort of there, but yeah, it's hard to say exactly. But one thing I mentioned already is the AI agents, also called autonomous AI agents. These are sort of like a stepping stone towards AGI. So these self-acting AI language models, and not only language, but AI models. We see also not so much related to marketing, but we see also we will see a huge breakthrough or many advancements in science. Just recently, Google DeepMind has announced alpha geometry, which solves mathematical geometric problems on a Olympiad gold medalist level, like really top 50 of humans, yeah, on that level. This will nurture science a lot. We see Mid-Journey, the image generation tool. The CEO said that by the end of this year, they are expecting to have a holodeck. And what they mean with that is that with a prompt, you can generate whole worlds. And these whole worlds, maybe they can be utilized for marketing or like even more engaged customer relations. Yeah, virtual reality is simultaneously also becoming more and more a trend. We see it on PlayStation is using it. We see also the Apple Vision Pro already being launched. Yeah, and if Apple goes into it, then we can say, okay, it's happening. Yeah, now it's really happening. They always like tend to wait conservatively until they go in, and I think we are there. And yeah, language models will become stronger and stronger, and this all goes towards AGI. The future is very interesting technology-wise speaking.
Sounds very interesting. That's all the questions I've got for you. Thank you so much for doing the interview.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.